welcome to today's yoga class. This is day 3 in a 4-part beginner standing series. If you haven't watched day 1 and 2, no worries, you can go back and see them whenever you'd like. They're not building on one another, they just all coincide together. So be sure to check them out if you enjoy this class, otherwise we can go ahead and get started. We're going to be getting into some balancing postures today. So I've got a chair set up, a wall would also work well, or blocks. So you'll see them demonstrated both ways today. To get started, just as we have the other 2 days, we are going to get into our breath work first. Today, what we're going to be doing for breath work is starting to control the duration of our breath. We already tried to control where it's going. Now we're going to try to direct how long it lasts. So we'll start at the top of our mat in our Tadasana. We've got about 3/4 of the way up the mat with feet hips width distance, with our hands facing forward, tall and upright, heels underneath hips, hips underneath shoulders, shoulders underneath ears. There's a big, wide, broad, open space in our torso so that we can take really big, deep breaths. While we're here, just go ahead and observe your breath. We don't need to try to lengthen it, change it, shorten it, do anything different. Just find your natural pace, your natural rhythm. It might help if you close your eyes so that you can kind of tune in to what's going on internally. Either way, just start to listen. Start to feel the breath. Inhale and exhale. While here, start to pay attention and giving your breath a count. So you're not going to change it, you're just going to listen and observe it. So maybe your inhales are at a 3 and your exhales are at a 4. Whatever it is, find your pace. Once you've found your pace, we're going to try to find some symmetry between the two. So whether you need to lengthen or shorten your inhales and exhales, you're going to try to match them up so that you've got the same count on both sides. Maybe they're both 3s now, or maybe they're both 4s. Now that you've started to establish these really deep and full breaths that match one another, we're going to start to extend them. So let's say that your inhales were for a count of 4. We're going to draw them out to a 5 now. Go ahead and do that together. Empty everything out. Exhale, exhale. And then inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wonderful. So throughout class, we will tap back in to these big, full, deep inhales and exhales, trying to really make it so that as we inhale, everything fills up, and as we exhale, the same, by getting the symmetry between the two. To start, we are going to feel what it's like to be resting on one leg here. So find yourself at a wall, a chair, anything to help support you. Step down with your left leg and just swing your right leg. I think you've got a little pendulum here. As you move into your hips, notice how as you move around, your toes start to grip the mat, your ankle rocks, and all of those little tiny ligaments and tendons kind of pull together to create stability here. We're then going to move to the other side. So right leg is going to be down and our left leg is going to swing. Wonderful. We'll go ahead and come to the top of our mat to come into our crouching warrior, into our warrior 3, and eventually visiting half moon. I've got a chair here. Remember, you could have blocks, chair, or wall. We're going to put all of the weight, all of the work into our left leg here so that we can get stable on one side of our body. And then we are going to start to drag our right leg back behind us. You want to think of your body, except for your standing leg, as one board, one piece of wood. So we're not going to be bending our torso way down here while our leg is right here, but we're going to try to keep them in line. So if our foot is a little low off the ground, then our torso is pretty upright. If we are higher, then our torso comes down lower, so that you're balanced between the front and the back. Go ahead and come upright. Just feel the sensation of resting on one leg. It's not resting, working with one leg. This time, right leg is going to go down. We're going to bend into our right leg. Draw your left leg back behind you. We want to be extended from our left toes to the crown of our head. Go ahead and come up. It can be a lot of work, this balance, all of this effort is going into your hips. Go ahead and give yourself a big, deep inhale. Breathe all the way down, fill everything up. And then exhale, let it all go. And we'll jump back in. Left foot stays down. Right leg, we're going right back to where we were before. So this time we're going to get a little bit more specific with it. We've got a bent left knee. You're going to try to get your left hip to rest over your left heel. So instead of being pulled forward, losing your balance, pulled back, we want to stay firmly rooted over this leg and let it be as stable as possible. Then your right leg is going to reach back behind you. Your toes are pointed, pulling themselves back while the crown of your head is reaching forward so that you can find that place to balance and teeter right over your left leg. Checking in with your hip here. If you've got your hip starting to open up to the side, we're going to keep it closed off so that our both hips are pointing in the same direction. Take a big deep breath here. And then exhale, come out of it. Well, that was a lot of work. We're going to keep going. We've only got to do this a few more times. You'll feel yourself getting a lot stronger, a lot more stable, a lot more balanced. I'm going to stay down with our right leg here. Left leg reaches back behind us this time. Left leg lifts. Crown of your head reaches forward. Left toes reach back behind you. You've got balance here on your right leg. You've got a bent right leg on your heel underneath your hip. Your hips are both pointing in the same direction. So if you've opened up your left hip, tuck it back down. Find your balance here. Take a big deep breath. And then exhale as you come out. Good job. We're going to start working towards straightening our standing leg here. Bending into your left knee, left leg stays down, right leg is going to reach behind you. Find your balance here, find your stability. Reach back behind, and then trying not to open up your right hip, you're going to push for straight with your left leg. Notice if that feels more challenging or easier for you. Doesn't matter what it's doing, just as long as you can take the time to observe how it shows up in your body. And then exhale as you come out. Right foot meets the left. We'll go ahead and stay over on this side. Change the direction of my chair. So this time our right foot is going to stay down on the mat, bending into the right knee. Left leg reaches back behind you. Find your balance here. Find your place to teeter-totter. Keep your left hip down towards the mat. And then when you're ready, aim for straight with your right leg. getting longer from your left toes to the crown of your head. And then exhale as you come out of it. Wonderful. Let's take a big breath together. Big, deep inhale. Everything fills up. Exhale. Everything exits out. I'm going to come into visiting half moon now. You may find that as you've weaved in and out between your left and your right here, that you've got a little bit more mobility in your hips, a little bit more of a chance to get down lower. If so, go ahead and take this opportunity to readjust your props, find what's going to work best for you. We're going to be standing on our left leg first. So our left leg is bent, right leg reaches back behind us, right toes point back, start to lift as our torso counterbalances our leg here. If you'd really like to challenge yourself, you're welcome to remove your hands from any support, or you can keep them on fingertip, whatever you'd like. You're then going to aim for straight with your left leg, reaching back behind you. You'll find that as you reach back, it gives you the opportunity to get more stable here. And then we're going to turn, open up your hip towards the right side. So your right hip is going to roll on top of your left hip. I like to have my foot become a flat foot instead of pointed. Kind of helps to remind my hips what they need to do here. And that is your half moon. You may need to bend back into your knee to get there. And then exhale as you come out. Wonderful. Big deep inhale. Exhale, let it go. Onto our right leg this time. Bending into your right knee. You're going to be placing the weight in a balance on your right leg. So pull your hip back so that your heel can be underneath it. Reach back with your left leg. Once you find your stability and your balance here, go ahead and push for straight with your right leg. Crown of your head gets longer, your leg reaches back farther. Find your balance, find your ability to teeter-totter between the front and back. And then when you're ready, start to turn and twist your hips open into your half moon. So in this time, your left hip is going to roll on top of your right. You can change the placement of your foot. You can bend back into your right knee. Give yourself a breath here. Exhale. Come back down. Wonderful. There's a lot of work on your hips to rotate through these positions with your legs and to keep so much strength and control here. So we're going to go ahead and bend around, flex into our hips. You could have the chair still available. You could have the wall. We're just going to stand on our left leg first this time. Right knee comes forward, back, and then open up to the side. And then just draw circles with your right knee, getting to flex and move every little part of your hip here. And then we're going to change it up. We'll still use the chair. This time, standing on our right leg, bringing your left knee in, out, front and back, whichever way. Draw circles with your left knee. There we go. We've done a lot of balance, a lot of hip work. We'll come into our last balancing posture, our tree pose. Standing onto your left foot, you can take your tree pose down here at your ankle, up on your shin, knee, not highly recommended, but you do you, all the way up to your thigh. You could have support with a chair. You could be standing in the middle of a room, wall, whatever works for you. Go ahead and get yourself set up here. You're going to be pretty open on the inside of your right leg. So sometimes if that's a little bit more challenging, maybe you need to place your foot in front. Find where you'd like to be. Bring your hips forward. Woo. Press your hips forward. Press down into your left foot. Keep your torso upright. Draw your shoulders away from your ears. You could have your hands at heart center. You could bring them up like tree branches. You could have them waving around trying to get your balance. Give yourself a moment to come back to that pace in your breath that we had at the beginning, to start to slow down and draw it out. And then go ahead and release it. Coming onto your right side, right foot is going to tamp down. You're going to find your tree, either your ankle, your shin, your thigh. Where will you feel most stable? We're going to bring our pelvis back in line, right above your shoulders. Wow, right above your heel. So we've got this big, long, straight line pulling us upward. Hips are going to press forward. And find our balance. Tapping into that same steady, even breath as before. And then you're going to let it go. Whether you teetered in and out of it or were able to stay, all that matters is that you tried and that you observed how you felt in it. And you can learn from that space. You can move forward from where you were. We're going to find ourselves up against a wall. Find ourselves out with a place of rest, a place of stillness. Let your back sink down, press against the wall. Keeping that same steady, even breath as before. Giving yourself a moment to thank your body for working so hard. I'm grateful for the opportunity to take this time. I'm so glad that you're able to join me here today. I look forward to seeing you tomorrow.